Well, hi guys, how you doing? Looks like Trey's got a lot to say. What else have we got in here? Hard to James. Okay, we've got James LaCour. I thought I saw amongst Trey's comments B. Freeman. No, Paula. Okay, Paula. Jules. Hi. How you doing? James LaCour. Trey. I wasn't sure if I thought I saw B. Freeman in that somewhere. There he is. How are you guys doing? I'm doing great today. Feeling better. We have the happiness frequency on at the moment. Hope that's having the right effect on you guys. So, how are you doing today? Saturday? I think it's the 7th. 2 days, or 8th, maybe. We're 2 days after the insurrection. Oh my God, the insurrection. What can we do? So it's a free chat. I had a couple things in mind to talk about. Yes, Max, I love you too. Nah, I don't have anything to show people, so you can come on. Come on. Come on. I know you're coming up. Come on. Okay. Thank you. I'm out. Cannot stand psychobabble. Yeah, take it easy there, Trey. All right, James. Uh, if you got to go, you got to go. I think Trey was just getting his stuff out before the show started. He's a bit of a poet. I'm playing Secret Squirrel. I've heard of the quickening. Ah, yeah, the quickening. I like the quickening. I felt the quickening a few times. The brain goes on fire, the body is energized, everything's absolutely on at that point. So, yeah, I don't know how many people we're going to get in here. It's a pretty slow Saturday. I was going to address, I don't know if you guys watched Rex Bear slam on Mud Fossil uh, theory. I thought that was kind of neat. Uh, I do have a bit of a response to that. No fling mental. Oh, don't make excuses. Well, everybody's got their own thoughts. I don't know. So yeah, I was kind of watching Rex there, and actually I saw him just. I didn't see the show that he did, but I saw the rant after. Played about half of it. I don't. I don't particularly agree with him. He was saying that he does not believe in creatures that big. I think I'm not quoting him, of course. He doesn't. I guess maybe he doesn't see how that is possible. Um, so I might go over on this show just how something like that might be possible. You know? Hey, Doug, who's here? It's light outside. I can't do this. Oh, did you just wake up, Doug? Yeah, I'm usually a pretty late show. Yeah, you're What are you talking about there, Trey? You're on about Mary and the Soul Tribe. That's not really cool, dude. Take it easy. Hey, Freedom Grower, how you doing, buddy? Dude, do you think people don't get notified? No, people don't want to deal with the psycho ramblings. I've been in the shop all morning. All right, awesome. Hey, Freedom, if you want to come up and have a chat, I'll put the link in for you. Maybe you can give us a little direction here. Max, where are you going? Okay, you go where you're going to go. Is that where you're going? Okay. All right. Just tell me when you're ready. I'll drop it in. I got to get my headphones on. Yep. Ramblings. James. It's a good test for you, buddy. When people say stuff that I don't like, I just don't read it. That's all. That's what I do. It's an option. Reading it or not reading it, it's an option. It's up to you. You're doing great. Awesome. But Trey, if you're slamming on people, I don't quite get what you're saying there. But if you're slamming on people, please stop it. I don't want to hear that kind of crap. I read a couple of your comments, but not all that. That was a lot. Yeah, let me grab something. I wanted to talk about the early years. Just there, it said about it being awesome. No, that's not true. Well, in the beginning, yeah, he was just doing shit. Putting out his poetry. He ain't doing it now. Got a couple comments. If he was spamming, I'd tell him. There's a good one. Okay, we got a couple of good ones here. I'm going to go through most of them actually, just to show you what's going on there. So let's start off, with an overview. Yeah, those are all good stuff. So here's an overview picture. Let me get that up here. There's Freedom there. Hey, Freedom, how you doing, buddy? Here's an overview picture.
Yo. Give me 1 second here. Let me.
Yeah. So, here's an early picture.
Test.
Your sound is good. Your sound is good.
That's weird. Why are you coming over my other speakers here? Let me see what's going on here.
All right. Yeah, I heard a bit of an echo in the beginning there, but it seems to be gone.
That should fix it right there. Is that better?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the sound is good. Hi, Crystal. Hi, Karen Lynn.
So how's it going, John there, Max Vision? What's up, buddy?
Awesome. I'm doing fantastic. Yeah, the world around me is falling apart, but I'm doing fantastic.
Is your apocalypse going as expected?
It is. It's coming along nicely. I'm seeing death and destruction all around me. People losing their businesses, people taking their lives, people losing their lives. It's been a grand apocalypse, I tell you.
At least you kind of had a heads up, though. Wasn't
Yeah,
totally a
yeah,
surprise. I think a lot of people, there's some serious shock factor going on. It's like their bubbles being popped.
yeah.
And a
I,
lot of us in this truth type community, we've been through that.
mhm.
So we're trying to be a foundation, trying to be a source of stability. But we also know, since we've been through it ourselves, you can't really help people beyond just give them love. It's all you can really do.
All right. Yeah, yeah. We got to make it through here. Keep yourself lifted, right? Oh, looks like
Yeah.
James taking off. All right, James. We'll see you later, buddy. Um, yeah. Sorry that distracted me there.
I'm done. Maybe one day you'll figure it out. What's he?
Oh, he doesn't
So
like.
he's the authority of all things truth, and you haven't listened to his words well enough, huh?
I guess. Yeah. Something happened.
No, it's not John. This entire chat feed is filled with it. Let's focus on the guy who's upset here and see what he's expressing. Ramblings, he says. Dude, you think people don't get notified? No, people don't want to deal with psycho ramblings. Yeah, we're totally delusional.
He's talking
That's
about
the,
one guy in chat, Trey. There, he's a sub of mine, and if you go up to the top of the chat, like he's just totally rambled it out. He's kind of a poet, so he likes to he likes to augment words and phrases and put them all together. It's really kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, James doesn't like it. So I think Trey might have been on a bit of a rant or something.
Oh, he doesn't like what the other guy's saying.
Yeah, I didn't really read all of what Trey was on about, but I guess he was on a rant about something. Hi, James Ortiz. How you doing? Good to see you, buddy.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what he said, but I'm sure it was bad.
Must have been.
There, James. You're justified in your anger, in your wrath. Bring condemnation upon him for his words. How dare he speak freely? That's the problem with people these days,
Yeah, we are trying to clamp down on that here in Canada. We've made progress. There are pastors in Canada that have been to jail because they were expressing their freedoms. So now, whenever they speak, they have a blurb of compelled speech from the government that they have to say to discredit everything they say afterwards. So
a little platitude
fantastic.
of nonsense, huh?
Yeah.
What do you have to say?
I don't know the exact speech, something to the effect of, this is all my beliefs type thing, no. I guess they're trying to disassociation with reality,
And it's a mantra. It's a thing you say to.
I guess I haven't heard it,
Okay.
I haven't heard him speak, so I would like to do that now that you mention it. Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah. Well, it's a little bit of an aberration from the normal, something to break it up.
Well, I wonder if we'll all get our little, compelled speech before we talk to everybody, after we all go to COVID camp,
Mm-hmm.
That'll be fun.
Well, it's the nanotech that'll be talking, bro. So you won't have to worry about what to say anymore.
I'm looking forward to that, not having to do all my own thinking. It's tiresome, right?
Well, I mean, energy in general. I mean, when you're being sucked by the Borg the way we are, it's hard to muster up anything outside of it.
Absolutely.
But that's the whole key to rise above it is we got to use the generators in us.
Yeah.
Almost like fish against the flow of energy. And it's not necessarily easy, but it is possible. And we can overcome the world that way with that analogy or a version of it, I think.
Pamela says, COVID camp. I say COVID experience. Nice.
This one time at COVID camp,
Yeah. Is that all you need? Like, do you get a yearly like subscription to this, or can we go back?
I was sitting in a mercury formaldehyde aluminum particulate hot tub solution at FEMA camp, COVID camp, and I saw the water curving in the hot tub, and then I went into another dimension.
Yeah, Camp COVIDy. I like Camp COVIDy. I think that's really, what we should be going for. Everybody should go to COVID camp.
We'll all get there eventually. Many
They'll
paths to get there, many
they'll
ways.
have the Kool-Aid and the little blue pill for you to take, and it'll be awesome.
I don't know. I'm feeling pretty liberated these days, though, to be honest, because all the bullshit, it's like really solidifies in your own mind what's important and what actually matters, what can affect you or that you'll allow to affect you, because you actually do have control.
Yeah, and like you said, it's like a story we've already heard. Everything is coming out like a year later. Like a year ago, we weren't allowed to talk about the Biden laptop. Now it's in the news. Oh, Biden laptop. Sure, go ahead. You don't lose your channel now.
Yeah, I know. I'm talking about the nanotech a lot now, and so are some others. But I guarantee you it's going to be a bigger conversation in the days ahead.
Yeah. What is becoming big, too, is people are talking about 5G. It's not the source of what's going on. But,
the Five Guys and Fries.
Yeah.
Supersized.
Yeah, it's not the source of what's happening to us, at least not in Canada, because we don't really have 5G. We only have 4G and lower.
So,
yeah. No
you
directed
poor downtrodden, mistreated slaves.
I have been trying to find emitters everywhere. And there's a porcupine of a building over there that's got tons of emitters on them, but none of them appear to be 5G because they'd be too far from the ground, right? So,
yeah, it's a true reflection of a free society. Yeah, if you have the ability to bask in the arrays of Five Guys from Fry's frequency weaponry, it's something I'll look forward to.
Have you been taking your nanotech regularly, or are you?
Well, I try to go out of my way to get conventional food sources, go through McCrap and get
I've heard that
Big Macs, and I hear the special sauce has the special sauce has the extra nanoparticulates. So sometimes I'll get a side of that and just straight down the pie hole.
Nice.
Hydrogenated oils and all, bud.
See, now I was hoping that we would have the 5G, because I've heard that the nanotech is much more controllable under the 5G influence, and I'm kind of worried that I won't be controlled enough. Is there anything I can do about that, do you think?
Oh, you will be, bro. Don't worry about that. Trust me. You'll be controlled enough. It's just a matter of how stimulated you are while you're being controlled. Like, how big is your mansion in the meta? That's what you need to be concerned with right now, because it's probably the most important thing when it comes to just identity and value, personal wealth, personal view of self-worth is probably the size of your house in the meta.
Yeah, now I've heard a bad thing for nanotech is detoxes. Now, with boron, taking boron. You can buy boron at the health food store, the 3 milligram pills. And apparently nanotech doesn't like that. I don't know.
I think there's a number of things you can do. Yeah, I'd even go along with the idea that the fresh green juices, cilantro, parsley, things like that pull heavy metal particulate, it's going to
so you're going to want to avoid that kind of thing, right? Like,
you don't want to get any of that if at all possible. Try to drink like a Pepsi or Coke. Either one is a good choice, but it gives you choices. So if you want, you could get like Pepsi or you could get Coke.
So this is a warning against green vegetables and boron, because we
definitely
don't want, we want to maintain
and fresh green juices, of course, too. That's probably something the FDA should put on the
all that chlorophyll
carcinogens
that mimics blood cells. I don't like that idea. I don't know.
Now, fresh air is a problem too. I've noticed that with a lot of people. They're trying to take their muzzles off. They think they got a right to walk around with only one muzzle on. I mean, come on. We're all triple muzzled, and they're sitting there with one. It's like, what kind of loser?
I feel naked at the moment.
True. I feel nude too.
Yeah,
Well, I'm
Yeah.
actually wearing a muzzle. I mean, I have my virtual bubble on right now, so
Oh,
I'm
okay,
totally
that's good.
protected from anything environmental. The environment's completely sterile. All biology's been killed here. There's essentially nothing here that could hurt me or help me. So I'm just an inert nothingness at this point. But it's a nice place to be. I found my freedom in the bubble.
Yeah.
Found peace here. It's a meditative space for me. I
Yeah, I hear
meditate
you.
on Fauci's,
Yeah,
directives and
I hear
everything.
you've got a an insulated room. Now, is that government approved for you to have an EMF insulated room? Like, have you had the
Oh,
inspectors
we
by?
can't talk about that. That's not approved
Oh,
conversation.
I'm sorry, sorry,
Yeah,
sorry.
you're gonna put me on a list or something, man. I'm
Yeah.
trying to please the corporate system here, the corporate beast. If
Well,
they
just
find
you
out
know
I
what?
have a
You tell them you've got 4 Wi-Fi repeaters in there. You know,
well, and
you're
that's
trying to.
basically what I've done is
You can
I
turn it
found
into a
ways
you,
to
you could turn it into a microwave, right? Just walk a cow in there, get like 20, 30 emitters on the ceiling, and you could just cook that cow up, 10 minutes or so. You know,
there's
that's
always a way.
efficiency. That's efficiency for
Yeah.
you.
No, but real talk, I don't even know if I can go real talk. I like the humor of it all because it is so absurd in nature. Everything is beyond ridiculous, unconscionable to the point where it can
Yeah.
pull you into those judgmental, condemning spirits where you're angry
Good
and I've
morning,
even
Scott.
said plenty of times there's a purpose for that energy, but I'm not going to sit in that all day. So I choose to laugh
Hmm.
at the absurdities of it. Some
Yeah,
people find my humor offensive or whatever, especially certain family members. But I just continue to laugh because I mean it's either laugh or cry, one or the other. There's two things going on here. You can be in pain about it, or you can just
yeah,
be glad you see it and laugh about it.
yep.
It's not cool
Yeah,
to see your family hurting themselves, though. That's the hardest part about all this. The kids, that one, I've had some moments, some breakdown moments with the seeing what's happening to the youth. But
take it easy there, Trey. Um,
what's
yeah.
Trey doing?
Oh, he's chatting it up. Yeah. I, you know, I have had a couple moments where I was letting what's happening to other people out there start to get to me. And you've got to pull yourself out of that because you're that's
You're
playing
accountable.
you're playing into the hand that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, and if the lily wave is a thing that's around you, they can collect that, and I don't want to give them any ammunition. They can
Mm-mm.
collect that and repeat it back to you whenever they want. So no, I'm not going to
Yeah, you
fall
see
into
what I
that.
do. It's all currency. We
Yeah.
keep feeding like
Hmm.
batteries that were their generator or their supply to allow them to build their kingdom. And I'm done doing that. I mean, I still do it inadvertently or
Yeah.
unconsciously or somehow I'll get into a creature of habit type situation, but trying to consciously step out of that as much as possible, just be accountable. And it's not easy, but that's the whole game here. That's how we overcome. It really is.
That's right. You give them the ammunition to feed back at you, and overall, you're feeding into the mass of depression and anxiety that's out there. And if we can be a light, because we're all connected, we're all connected. So if you can bring the light, you know, others are going to feel it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's a domino effect, right? And light is
Well, and
much
it's
more
part of that
powerful than
accountability that,
darkness.
yeah, we've been duped, we've been deceived,
Yeah,
but on the same token, who allowed them to do it? I mean, even because there was points where even along the way we knew stuff wasn't right. It didn't pass the sniff test, but we're going along with to get along,
it,
going with the motions.
if you look back far enough, it's been years. It's been 40,
Mm-hmm.
50 years that this has been building. Starting back in the late
Yeah.
70s, early 80s, when TV started to become a debauched, uh, show of skin and sexuality.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the beginning. When they took wholesome television away, was the beginning of the destruction of the family.
Well, and the
and
adults all
morality.
thought they were safe because they were doing that after Johnny and Susie went to bed, and they're sitting there on the boob tube
Mhm.
watching the late night show, and like you said, showing skin, and oh look, this one's being sexual, and this one here's being, and it was that carnal. It's not anything more than they're just playing off parts of ourself that create vulnerabilities. So the carnal chakra, if we get in that uncontrolled anger, we get in that uncontrolled sexual type
Yeah, and they showed us
infatuation.
unrealistic lifestyles of these oligarchs and millionaires, where
Yeah,
you're
unrealistic imagery. True.
yeah, lifestyles that weren't conducive to family values. They
Hmm.
were all presented as the norm on television. So
Yeah.
the programming started then. You know, then we get BLM. What's their edict? The destruction of the nuclear family. You know, so they don't
Right.
want mother, father, and child.
No, they
That's
don't.
all. That's all to be done by the state, right? And that might be better. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's it's this.
I do remember seeing videos of children raised by the state, just grasping the edge of their crib, rocking back and forth endlessly. That looks like great exercise. You know.
I mean, a child is ultimately not defined by their upbringing because there's definitely those that will break out and
Hmm.
find a totally different path than what they were maybe set on, find a different direction than they were pointed. But on the same hand of that, I, I can see that's a tough one for me because I don't use public school systems and I don't necessarily think it was that valuable for me growing up. However, I could see how it could be done in a way, but who am I to say that it needs to be done this way? So then I just piss a bunch of other people off if I get my way. So I kind of go back to, well, I'd rather just homeschool or
Yeah.
take responsibility for that because then I can have my cake and eat it too. I can give people their freedom. I don't have to impose my ideas on them, but I can do it my way in my nuclear family. And that's
Mhm.
important to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And homeschooling is becoming very popular, especially up here in Canada as well. You don't have to do it by yourself. There are groups, there are online schools that you can go to. It is
Yep.
actually quite easy and really available. Uh, so don't be afraid of it. It's not as hard as you think
Yep.
with the resources that are out there.
Yeah, and there are better public schools than other ones too. So I mean, it's definitely good to do your due diligence there. And if you are going to use the public services, make sure they got the right teacher. It's conducive to at least some of your values.
Yeah, yeah, and the information gets across. It seems quicker from these homeschool systems. I don't know why that is. Um, Maybe something about the method, because some of them are in classroom, like they go to somebody's house. Some of them are just online, and they seem to do better. It seems to have a better structure to it, although it seems to be free form in some cases.
Hmm. Yeah,
Any,
it's a good thing to talk about. I mean, there's a need for guiding the next generation to hopefully have critical thinking because it's being attacked at every angle. So if we don't
mhm,
sort of it's funny to think of it this way, but if you don't indoctrinate your children into the ideas that they don't have to be indoctrinated, that they can think freely, then they won't even know that's a possibility. So I try to just teach my kids to look for it. It's like, I'm not your authority. I'm not the one who determines how you view things or what you choose to look at, but as someone who's helping shape and form your upbringing, the main thing I'd want to instill is don't be so damn sure, question your own arguments, question everybody's input, really discern what you're looking at
mhm.
because not everything is beneficial. I mean, some of it's just another trap, just another rabbit hole to take you off track of your growth and spiritual type learning process. But we're all here to grow That I know for sure. There's a lot of things I don't know, but this is, if we view it right, this is all refinement. We're going to have a great outcome. We're going to overcome all these challenges. And I just feel confident in my heart of that. Maybe I'm deluded, but I don't care. I like my ideas and I'm sticking to it.
I see some good outcomes for the end of this.
Me too.
You know,
100%.
I see pretty much well, okay, here in Canada, the doctors and nurses that have been ousted from their jobs still have their licenses. So what they've done is they've started up a wellness center. They still have access to the diagnostics,
Wow.
but
I'm
many of
surprised
them
they
have
kept their
taken
license.
um, therapeutics in South America. A lot of them went on vacation for many months, saw what was happening, and said, "Wow, we got to really rethink this whole system." And they're doing it. They're really doing it. They're looking at holistics. They're looking at vitamins and supplements and uh,
Beautiful.
different types of healings. And yeah, it is beautiful because they can use these diagnostics tools from the medical industry, uh, to get real world problems fixed.
Hmm.
Instead of just well, we know what the allopathic system does. It's mask and cover. So keep your disease. We just want to mask and cover it, and keep you on this, right?
Yeah.
This will fix you up right. Won't fix you, but it'll fix you up right for us. You know?
Well, I even hear some people, they're having conversations with their allopathic, big pharma based representatives, their local general practitioner, and they're pointing out these, I guess, just unanswered questions. If you can't isolate the thing, how are you testing? And if it's known that the tests aren't accurate, how are you utilizing that for intel to make decisions based off of? And some of the doctors come around, they're actually
Yeah,
receptive to it and saying, there is some problems here. But what cracks me up is average Joe like you and me, we've been onto this for years now. And yet
yeah,
they're the ones with the titles, they're intelligent, but it just shows you all they've done is repeated knowledge that's been put in their dome through indoctrination, through textbooks. They maybe know a lot of what they think are facts, but they don't have any ability to think, because when you challenge the argument, yeah, for a moment you might be able to get them to say, oh, there might be something there, but they're supposed to be the ones that are clued into that. They're supposed to be finding the inadequacies, the contradictions, the things that don't make sense, and then have a good answer for it.
no.
They don't have
Modern
an answer.
medicine is a religion. It's a religion.
That's all it is.
It's not a practice. It's a religion. All they do is reference their memory of what they were told, or reference books or Google.
Yeah.
Oftentimes now, doctors are Google doctors.
But what is intelligence? Is just because I can recite a bunch of facts or perceive facts,
No,
because I can hold a bunch of information in my brain, does that make me intelligent? I mean,
not at all.
that's what I guess an IQ test is looking for, though, right? How much
Yeah.
can you repeat?
Yeah. No, actually, a good IQ test will look at your critical thinking,
And your
how you
decision
use
making,
the information, and how you view it.
right? Like how would you, if you could save the world by killing a bunch of babies, would you do it? That was what seriously, that was a question somebody said they had on an IQ test,
Yeah, yeah.
and I thought, wow, what strategy? So if I look at that question, I would say
That's like fishing. They're like fishing for
psychopaths, your personality type.
yeah.
Because some people, they'll sit in that box and say, oh, so I have two choices. I can either kill a bunch of babies or I kill all the people in the world, because one way or another, bad outcome. But you wouldn't choose either of those. You would say
No,
that's absurd. I'm
that's
not going to be
absurd.
bound by your stupid fucking
I'm not
multiple
taking
choice.
that moral leap. No.
Yeah, I'm
On
not going to do
everybody
either.
else? No.
I don't need
No.
to save the world, and I don't, definitely don't need to be killing babies. So what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
But that's, yeah, so intelligence, is it glossy words? Is it being able to form long sentences that make you sound smart? I mean, I think it's about accountability. That's intelligence to me. Personal choice, a free mind that's choosing with accountability what it does. It's not putting the onus on anybody else. It's like, I got to make these choices for myself, and I will own the results of my choices. And I'm not going to give up that right to make those choices either, no matter what anybody says. They're not taking that from me.
And that goes into how you perceive things too, right? Like how you perceive the world is, you have to be, I guess, accountable to yourself for that as well,
Yeah. But what if the nanotech takes me over, and then I come on the next stream and I'm going, John, man, have you gotten your booster yet? Because I'm kind of worried, I just had this thought that maybe you might want to go and get double jabbed and boosted, and I'm noticing you're not wearing a muzzle.
We're up to 4.
I feel more comfortable if you put that on.
We're coming up with our 4th booster here in Canada.
Oh God!
And people are lining up for it.
Yeah, but do you think it's affecting thought? Because that's really what I'm saying. Is, I mean, they're controlling the narrative through the impulses of the conductive type materials they're putting in people, and so they're subtly steering the populace, and that's why people keep telling me, hey, I have these conversations and they can't see it. They don't understand. They don't hear what I'm saying. Well, yeah, because they're hearing a louder voice. There's an augmented intelligence in them. There's something altering their capacity to even hear a sound argument that you're presenting. And I'm seeing that in my relationships.
That is true.
It's legitimate.
Mm-hmm. I have experienced that as well. It's the programming, and it could be partly the nano. I don't know, but I do know that we have been under intense MK Ultra mind control for 2 years.
MK Ultra nanobots.
Yeah, they practice that here in Canada in a city just a few miles away from me, where there's an institution. So they did some of the experiments there, and we're experiencing some of the results of those experiments.
But if I change my position because the nanotech is screaming loud in my mind, what I would hope someone would love me enough to do is seriously, like, give me a green juice or ask, because. And so that's the thing I'm always trying to promote is, hey, we got to make better food choices. We got to own our food.
Absolutely.
If we can grow it, let's grow it. If we can become wild edible foragers or agrocentric community gardens, whatever we can do, it's one of the most tangible things that I see that could actually impact our state of mind, our health of our minds, and give us more potential to overcome this. But eventually we got to stop that system from poisoning us. I mean, that ultimately will have to happen. You can't just sit there like a lab rat and have them continue to poke you and poison your sky and your water and your food and everything you're interacting with and think it's going to, we'll just overcome it with good thoughts. I mean, we will, but eventually those good thoughts are going to have to manifest into the illusion of solidarity.
Yeah. Well, it has to be expressed over and over again. We have to beat the mind control.
Beat the nanotech.
Yep. And the only way we can do that is by constant repetition and just dropping little hints here, there, everywhere, over and over and over again. Do you know the people at work, at my work, are all against children being vaccinated now?
Yeah.
Now they are. Yeah.
Because they had some damage, didn't they? They had some problems.
No, they had a little voice in their ear repeating things over and over and over again.
Sweet.
Right?
You did your work.
You've got to do your work.
Yeah.
Right? And just keep at it.
What do you think about the metaverse? Do you see it as the diabolical, nefarious plan that I do, or are you more neutral on it?
Do you want me to be funny or serious?
Let's go funny first. Okay. Let me guess, you've already got a mansion there and an avatar, and you're one of the richest people in the meta.
I wish. I'm poor in the metaverse.
Oh,
But I
well, that's
like
because you haven't given them your soul yet.
what
I
I've
mean,
decided to do in the metaverse is I'm just going to move in on other people's lives, right? They haven't got any police in there.
right. So you can
So,
go rape and pillage in the metaverse right now. It's the wild,
yeah,
wild west.
yeah. I'm just going to, I see a nice mansion there. I'm just going to move in,
Yep.
right? That, you know,
If you
I,
like any of the,
this guy's taking all this time buying all that stuff. Hey, I
if you
like it.
like any of the attractive meta avatars that you see, you can just go grab you a few concubines and store
Well,
you up a bunch of wives, right?
yeah, like it's going to be like Grand Theft Auto, right?
I never played it, but I
Uh,
believe it's probably pretty horrendous.
I played it once. I wouldn't play it again, man.
Okay.
That's,
It's like what
that
you
thing.
think the meta is actually going to be, but now you
That
know the
thing
meta is going to be
is
worse.
just wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. If any of you play that game, I don't know. I question your mental.
Well, people want to live out these fantasies, right? And it gives them a place where they've convinced themselves that they can do things that appear exactly like actions that in this realm would be unconscionable. You would be in jail for the rest of your life, or all your peers would be so upset with you
You
because you're
can't
hurting
see,
people. Or
if you can't see what that is training your brain to accept.
yeah,
I
especially if you know what your brain is, if you know what your
Yeah,
mind does, the energetic aspects of it.
yep, and we keep reinforcing certain patterns, and eventually those patterns they stick. You know,
Yeah,
even though we do have a plasticized brain and we can rewire it, you can rewire it for good, or conversely, you can rewire it for bad, right?
yeah,
But yeah, I think the metaverse is going to be a further extension of horror, absolute horror, and
it will be. I feel like a lot of people will capitulate, though. A lot of people right now uh, don't
it's
like the
tempting,
meta. It's
right?
got a negative stigma, but there's plenty of people that it is
Mm.
tempting. Once they realize what it's really offering, I think they're. I'm not trying to predict that or prophesy. I don't want people to do that. I don't think it's healthy for them, and I'm not going to.
Oh,
But
it's definitely not healthy.
but if it means money, think about it. Status,
Yeah.
ability to uh, rise up in your workplace, because the people who are sophisticated in that realm where all the
Hmm.
business is happening, just like the migration to the internet. If you
Well,
were
when we
calling on brick
consider,
and mortar stores when the internet was going hot, you were going broke while the internet guys were cleaning up on sales,
yeah,
because that's just the way the migration was going.
yeah, yeah.
It's a
I see
trip,
the
though.
metaverse as an absolute horror show. I can't see this being good for anyone. These people that create these technologies and these things that we are recently getting given to us free, although we'll have to still pay for them later in taxes. Uh, None of them take them. None of them use them. None of them let their children take or use them. But we're supposed to do that to our
Hmm.
children and ourselves. Um, to me,
Yeah,
that kind of gives a little bit of a hint as to maybe this might not be the best thing for you, right?
right.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't believe anything they say just because of that, because they speak out of both sides of the mouth. Their actions
Yeah.
show you they they actually we should be incredulous in how we deal with this stuff, because there's nothing to put faith in of anything we've been taught. I mean, and that's the hard part. Even for religion, spirituality, I've been going through that a lot with even the
Hmm.
sacred texts, all that. I've been talking about it quite a bit on my channel. I don't
Excellent.
know anything. All I know is I read some shit out of a book, and a bunch of people are trying to tell me that means this or whatever. And so as I've gone to interpret these things on my own
Hmm.
and really get rid of the indoctrination, on one level it's a letdown, because it's like, okay, well, Sky Daddy Jesus, he's not there to come save me. It's not. It actually isn't what they said. But then on the other side, they're liberating words, and they're showing me this potential within the mind.
There's
And I can
definitely
find this place of
truth
freedom.
and knowledge in there. Yes.
Totally.
Yeah, my story started in church. I was sitting in church, and the pastor was up there, and I didn't believe a damn word the guy was saying. And he out and out at one point changed the meaning of words and told us to believe that this word does not mean what it says. The word was
Yeah.
replenish. He told me that no, God did not wipe out the earth and need to fill it up again. He just replenished it. It was full, and he filled it to the overflowing point. That's what replenish means.
Yeah.
You know, I've read a dictionary in my lifetime, and it didn't say that. So, you know, and that brought me to, you know what? This guy doesn't really know who the Christ is or God is. So I'm going to go look and find it.
That's what I identified too. The pastors were always, they were surface, and I did meet a couple that would go a little deeper and would be honest that they didn't know, and that what I was saying at least had some merit. But most of them, they don't want to take that path with you, because the problem is their whole ministry will fall apart. Their whole congregation will fall apart, because it's built off a tithe and an offering, and it's built off these ideas of people trying to win favor with God and in some kind of, well, it's not even that. I mean, I understand people could correct me in that. That's another doctrine.
Well, and I saw these people around me that were all damaged, and they weren't getting better.
There you go. That's a very good point.
You know?
Yep.
And when you find out that the Christ is truly a process, truly an energy, truly within you and without of you, because it's in you and everyone else, and that God is there too, and that we have a connection that the church denies, and you know, absolutely suppresses. It absolutely suppresses that connection.
Yeah.
And once you learn that, and once you learn everything else that you learned was either half truths or out and out lies. Wow. Hey, you re-examine everything.
Well, I found that the words of Christ, I have to corroborate in my own heart, meaning that all the apologetics, all the people that argue about he was definitely real, and he went and he did the mystery schools in Egypt, or he wasn't real, or it was many stories that were reinterpreted. And I'm not saying any of those things are wrong or right. Those theories are, you know, all fine in my book, whatever you want to think. But none of that matters to me anymore. All that matters is there are some words that are written there, and through a certain perspective, they liberate me. And so I don't throw that baby out with the bathwater. That's what I take away from the whole spiritual teachings at this point is, oh, here's some signposts that I can go back to, and they remind me of the peace that passes understanding, the state of joy unspeakable, the freedom that's past even freedom. And it's always there, you know, we can always tap into it. But it's here, this is the point I want to make. It's because it's real, and it showed me something in myself that I found. So I don't prove Christ's words anymore through apologetics or like history or some, you know, none of that matters to me. It's because I found something through those words that I'm not willing to just, it's a gift. It's like, I'm not going to squander that treasure just because the religion was bullshit and the indoctrination was bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, they took truth and they twisted it. They got rid of anybody and everybody in the around the year 100 that had any knowledge of any way of teaching it differently. And they got rid of the Essenes. They tried to wipe out the Baptists. They, you know, and the Gnostics. And the only reason I think that we have I think a big factor in a lot of people's realizing that the church doesn't have the only word is the Nag Hammadi scriptures and all these other things corroborating the biblical times and the characters and their writings in a different fashion. But we knew that there was many different interpretations of the Christ back then, but we were streamlined and focused onto 33 books, of the New Testament that can be construed in a way to enslave,
Sure can. Yep. I was talking about that the other day, render under Caesar. What's Caesar's? And I said, well, Caesar started out wanting a 3% tax on tea, and we were ready to slice each other's throats over it. Now we're sitting 30, 40. The trajectory's not looking good. Big government just wants to grow, grow, grow. I don't know where Canada's at with these things, but my point being, well, what if Caesar wants 99%? What if he wants 99.999? What if he wants it all? Do you give Caesar your soul because that's the price he demands in his contract and negotiation? Fuck all that. We got to use our logic. I'm not giving Caesar my soul. I'm not giving him my life essence. And that's what the currency is. And then you find out the money. Well, actually you are. He's siphoning off the top of your life essence using that transactional currency exchange and then selling it back to you in a form of a lie for you to eat. Poison in your food, your air. And so this is all an energy transaction. It's mind fuckery. But no, I think we got to stop rendering to Caesar anything. Caesar's not honorable. Caesar's a very deceptive and evil type of entity from what I would describe as evil.
Okay.
I mean, think about it. Anything that seeks to control you against your will, because governing of your mental is not an opt-in, opt-out scenario. If it was voluntarism, I would say, oh, Caesar just has different ideas than me. Caesar's okay. Exactly. He's fine because he's not forcing me to play his game. But because you're forcing me to sit in your zoo and pay your stupid little fiat notes and all this, I got to play your Monopoly game where it's rigged and you win every time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm tired of giving Caesar what he fucking wants.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He's rigged the game. He's playing both sides. This will end eventually because it's gotten. I'm waiting for the point, and I keep telling people this. It has to get to a crazy point. It is going to get crazier and crazier, guys. Be prepared for that.
Yeah.
You asked how it is in Canada. We have been on a constant. At some level, we have always been locked down for 2 years.
That's disgusting.
No small business has been able to operate at capacity, except for seemingly big box stores, which are doing just fantastic. Those that have changed their emblems and coding over the past 2 years, they'll do okay. You'll notice this too. Some of the businesses have changed their logos a bit. Look for that.
Really?
Yes.
What in what regard? Just to send a new message, or what's the point?
I think it's showing they're in lockstep.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Their unity.
The unity.
Enslaving.
We are in this together. Remember? That was one of their slogans.
I just can't believe you've been in lockdown that whole time. That's so wrong on so many levels.
Yeah.
I got to turn my water off. I'll be right back.
Sure. They just installed curfew in Quebec. I'll tell him that when he comes back. From 10 p.m. till 5 a.m. Yeah, that's horrible. They just installed a curfew in Quebec, a province in Canada, from 10 a.m. to 5 a.m. People have been defying it and been assaulted or, taken by police.
Sure.
So the resistance is happening. We're filling up the jails and clogging up the system.
Yep.
So I don't know if that's a solution, but it seems to be what's happening here.
This is what I'm saying. See, now Caesar wants you to wear 2 muzzles. Now Caesar wants you to get 3 pokes and 2 boosters. Now Caesar wants you to stand on your forehead with your legs spread. I mean,
The only saving grace we have so far that I can see is our police are not beating old ladies in the streets with batons yet.
not yet. Yeah,
Yeah,
like you said, it's gonna get to be a wild ride here.
it is. It is going to get absolutely nuts, bat crap crazy. There's and with mood, guys, you got to keep lifted through this whole thing
Yeah,
because there are going to be lots of people checking out that just can't take it. People
I don't
that
want it to be that way either, man.
I know,
That's a
I know,
real
it's
evaluation and
it's
assessment.
really what's going to happen. Okay, some people are just going to be checking themselves out because they can't handle what's happening. And if you forewarn them of this, maybe it can help. I don't know. Um,
That's why we're saying it, though, is only to try to help, not to scare people. It's just prepare your heart.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Put some metal in your heart because you're going to need it. You're going to need
Preferably
it.
not graphene oxide,
Yeah.
something
Maybe some colloidal silver,
silver.
and which I can't say has an effect on COVID-19.
Oh, of course
Uh,
not.
but did see an article that mentioned that, but I'm not saying that.
I don't
Um,
give pharmakia allopathic medical advice anyway. I'm not into that system.
yeah, no, me neither.
It's
Yeah,
part of the Ask
exactly.
Clown Gong show.
Yeah, so we're about one step behind Australia, um, and kind of a mix of New Zealand, I would say. Yeah, we're doing really well for the New World. Well, see, our prime minister really desperately wants a seat on the UN Defense Council.
Yeah.
So, after he gets his rebellion, right? He needs a rebellion to do the martial law. And then you can do the martial law, and then you put down further edicts, restrictions, and make it even crazier. And then
Yeah.
what happens is the UN comes in to fix it all. That'll be great. And then we're under UN control. And then Klaus Schwab has us, and we have no way out. And we'll be under even further control. It'll be great.
Ay vey. Ay ay ay.
So
But
we'll
then you got
be
this guy, this troll who's in here who was talking crap earlier about he's leaving and he's done with you.
uh,
And he thinks you're not being censored. But we got 9 people in here and we're having a conversation that is authentically, legitimately more important than anything on any mainstream media network. We're speaking of things to come that anyone with intelligence that had common sense could look at this and say, "Up, we're definitely going to go through rough waters because look at where people's mindsets are in mass. Even just the process of an awakening is going to cause a lot of pain and turmoil." And then you've got the fact that we're providing real solutions because we're having to work out those solutions in our own mind and come to these conclusions through our own refinement, our own pain and destruction process of our experience. And yet, so these are the most important things. And yet, you got people listening to doctors who still haven't even figured out the tests don't work or they haven't isolated a virus. You got people still listening to politicians who still haven't figured out that every government program is bankrupt and the trillions of dollars of deficit they print have enslaved humanity generations. I mean, they still haven't even figured out the basic premise of what's going on here. So of course we're censored. Nobody's going to, and this is an important conversation. So of course you're only probably going to be able to get people in the room that already agree or know what we're saying. And so that dude needs to turn his light on and get real. If he's still listening, he needs to check himself. That we're offering, when we have communication like this and we confabulate this way, we're presenting the unique, authentic experience in a way others can relate, and that's highly valuable and should be shared on a grand scale. And yet we get stuck in the corners where they don't share the screen, they don't share the what am I talking about? The bell don't work, man. We got broken bells. That's what I'm saying.
yeah. Oh, yeah. 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 Well, they have said that, these conspiracy theorists that we see all over the place, right? They deceptively use facts and figures to prove their points.
Yeah, sure.
Think about it, guys. Think about it.
And that's our problem is
That's
we
our
actually thought
problem.
about it.
Yeah. Yeah. We thought about it. We researched it. We came up with the data. We analyzed the data. and then we presented what we our findings. I do think that it would be just much easier to just go on an emotional response. I don't think that you're bad. That's what it is. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
bad. Yeah. Goes right back to your conversation on intelligence. Are we just parroting back, or are we using our critical thinking and intelligence? You know,
Yeah. I like to look at it that who's more intelligent? A guy who has a trillion things remembered that he can recite on demand, on cue. In fact, you could even give him trigger words or scenarios where he'll, on an impulse, be a repeater, a reliable repeater. It's just like the perfect politician. He just gets up there and
yeah,
says all the glossy words so beautifully, but none of them are his. And he's learned the expressions, he's learned how to act, he's learned how to present himself in this way. Or the guy who has nothing remembered, but he has one unique fucking thought. And authentically, anyone who evaluates it should say, well, the person who had the unique thought, that's the more intelligent one. That genuinely, because the other guy doesn't know shit. All he did was just blabber a bunch of stuff that he was indoctrinated into. The other
yeah,
guy actually used his brain.
yeah.
So,
They do like to say that we do that we just repeat these phrases. And I've never repeated a catchphrase in my life except to joke about it. you know uh, I'll repeat stats. I'll pull up information. I'll cite people's conversations, doctors and
yeah,
lawyers, undertakers, uh, you know
I'm
and
not into platitudes, though. I don't sit there and say, you only live once, or I don't fucking care about any of that stuff. The
no.
stuff I'm saying is genuine, and it
Yeah,
doesn't matter if someone else judges it as not genuine. I
yeah. Well,
have
you've
to,
got you've got your freedom grower style,
yeah.
and you know, and it
And you
it
got your
shows
style.
through. It's beautiful. It's
Well, we're
liberating.
bringing the best
You're,
of what
you're
we have to
being
offer.
yourself. Being yourself is important too. Be who you are. Don't put on a mask. Well, don't put on a mask of your personality.
But if you do, put on 3 and get a couple
Yeah,
boosters while you're at it, just to keep me safe.
yeah,
Damn
yeah,
it.
yeah. Be yourself. And for people like, okay, I guess James isn't coming back. He'll find his group of people,
Sure.
where he's comfortable. But be yourself.
Yeah.
And but be
Nobody's forcing you to
introspective.
have the conversation if you
Be
want to
the
have a different
best. Be
conversation.
the best self that you can be. Do some introspection before you start saying things to people. And
Mm-hmm.
put the words that you say to others, put them on yourself first. Say
But
those words
I'm
to
finding
yourself.
sometimes my best is to be imposing, is to ruffle feathers, is to be a little bit abrasive,
Mhm.
especially when it comes to children. And you just like, I'm sitting in the line and there's this
Yeah.
family behind me and they got their kids all en masse. And I made my friend uncomfortable because I started talking about the muzzles. And I said, man, I could never put my kids in mass like this. This is just horrific what people are
Yeah.
doing. And
Yep.
I'm saying it loud enough for them to hear me.
Hmm.
And my buddy later thought that I was provoking and I was being rude. And I said, you know what? I feel I've got a clean conscience about it, man. These people want me to live as a
Hmm.
slave in a bacteria petri dish and get my kids sick and their kids sick. And I'm supposed to sit here and idly stand by and not say anything. I'm not about that. I'm gonna, and those kids need to hear it too. And
Yep.
so I'm using my freedom of speech. They don't have to like what I'm saying. I didn't cuss. I was polite in the way I said it. I didn't sit here and say, "Look
Hmm.
at these dumb idiots," but I did say, I just can't believe people are doing this to our youth. It's not
Hmm.
right. These
Yep.
kids deserve to breathe.
Yep. I've been in a store and walked by a row of cash registers going, and I was just pretending I was talking to my wife, but I said it loud enough that, a good group of people could hear it. Fauci and the CDC have said that masks don't work. So what the hell are we doing?
What are we doing?
You know,
Exactly.
why are we doing this? Well, it's virtue signaling. It's part of MK Ultra. It's part of the breakdown. It's part of the submission. That's why.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. We're submitting. We're showing our compliance, our disassociation with reality,
Yeah.
because we were told that they don't work, and then we were told, oh, you got to wear them. Now you got to wear two. Now they're discussing that we might all need M95s, because I guess they want their piece of the pie too.
You got to wear it. Yeah.
You
Government
know,
approved. We got a government certified FDA approved.
exactly.
But yeah, you got the FDA approved muzzle.
Yeah.
And what's funny is it is funny to me. It may be sad to some, but I laugh about it. They told all these jabbers, hey, go get your pokes, get all, pin cushioned up, and then you'll be free. You won't have to wear your muzzle. And then, of course, they came full circle. Wow, you got to wear it anyway. It's a ritualistic shame muzzle. You got to have that on. You're not normal or human without that. And here they are going, well, I got duped. I did it so people would leave me alone. And now here I am all poked up with this crap and I feel like shit. And I still have to wear my muzzle. And here we are, the never slavers, the guys on the sidelines that said, screw this experiment. And we're actually going, how insane is this? But yet those people on the other side of the fence are going, well, I guess I got to get another booster. I got to keep playing ball. It's just like, what are we doing here, man? You just love to be lied to, don't you?
I have something positive to tell you.
Okay.
People I'm running into, because I'm quite vocal about this whole thing, I'm running into people now that are saying, you know what, I did two. That was enough. I've done my two. They said that would, they're starting to, it's like something's clicking. They told me that if we got two, I'd be free.
Right.
Okay, then they told us, okay, we got to get 70%, and then we'll be free. And I said, okay. And a lot of people said, okay. Now they're saying, oh, well, you're still going to have to wear this. And you know what? We have a problem here. We're going to have to shut everything down again. And you know what?
Oh, my gosh.
You're going to have to go for another one. And we're up to our third now. But, the first three didn't work. So come on in and get another one. And maybe this one will work, right? You think people might get a little cautious about this, and but they seem to be doing that. It's like something has clicked in their brains, and maybe it's a catchphrase out there. I don't know, but something happened.
I hope you're right. I hope that they're not so mind melted that as soon as they start to use a little common sense, the Gooberman will come in and say something to the point of, hey, we got the Omega booster and it's all in one. So now if you just do this one, that'll cover them all. It's the booster of all boosters. It's
a booster to end all boosters. Yeah.
And then they'll say,
I love it.
Well, I wasn't going to do it, but they say this one, if I do it, it's the only one I need. You know what I mean? And then that'll get them back in the whole shit show again.
Drink the Kool-Aid, eh?
So we got to pull them out. If you start to see that in someone, you almost got to stay on them. You know what I mean?
I love that scenario, but you probably shouldn't have said that to them. Now I can see it. They're listening.
Well, we can predict these things. You know what I'm saying? It's like we got insight. We know what their playbook is.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way they roll. When the problem, reaction, solution.
Absolutely.
Oh, you got a problem? You don't want to keep taking in this boosters? Well, we got a solution. We got the Omega booster. It's the final say in boosters until the next variant, of course. It's the final for this variant. That's all we were saying. And it's still experimental and there's no liability. And if you die, you can't sue us.
Exactly. That's the fun of it,
No. They don't get to get as rich that way, and God knows we wouldn't want Big Pharma to pay any accountability or price for their actions.
Well, how well do you think they are doing? In their
500% return on Moderna.
Yeah,
I know how well they're doing.
Yeah, that's monetarily, but how well are they doing in the hearts and minds of people of America?
They're losing the war. I think it's chipping away every single day. The hypocrisy is getting exposed, and it's not going to stand.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
I'm liking that. I'm liking that.
I feel confident in that. In the end, however you want to look at it, God wins, truth
Yeah.
wins, freedom wins, love wins. There's no way you're going to defeat the higher vibratory energies. This is just basically a proving ground to get to those spaces. So if we want to
They're
rise up and
trying
wise up,
very hard to stop the awakening. It
oh,
seems.
big time. Yeah, they don't
It
want us to go because we're their
seems.
slaves. If we rise up vibratorily,
Yeah,
we
becoming
won't be bound.
divine and realizing you're a divine sovereign being in the universe. Yeah, I don't know if
Yeah.
that's really what the people deserve. Do you? I don't know. You know, they've been sheeple probably for thousands of years. You know, why
Yeah,
change a good thing?
I see the justification. They're just sitting there at the round table of lizards eating human cake.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
saying, they love us as their slave handlers
Apparently, you have
anyway.
to wait for Elizabeth to take the first few chomps. You know.
First few chumps.
Yeah, yeah.
Unless you're a special guest,
It's yeah.
then you get to be the cake.
They say there's a whole ceremony for the eating of the human, and that she apparently doesn't even wait until the end of the ceremony. She's just right in there, like, "Hey, give me mine," you know.
Yeah. Hey, we're going to a human cake eating ceremony. Bring your kids along. It'll be
Yeah.
exciting. You're all invited.
Right.
No, it's a mess, but it has to get. These things have to come to pass, and like you've said, it's going to get rougher waters. But that's the refinement, and it's the separating of the wheat from the chaff.
Yep.
Some want to
Hardening
do
of the
this cycle
steel.
again.
It's the hardening
Yeah.
of the steel.
Well, and
You
some
know.
they love this refinement right now. They're stuck in the fruits of this world, and they want to do the cycle again. They want to rinse and repeat, so they will.
Yeah. 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 Now,
As
can
they
they
wish.
keep them? Can they keep them in that? In that unsustainable, almost virtual world that they live in. You know, where like the elites understand reality. Like they are taught the nature of reality. Do you think that there will be a certain amount of people that'll want to stay in their sheepdom, or do you think that the human spirit just wants to be free?
I think there's duality in it. I think you've always got both scripts playing out, and then when I say that, that's wrong too, because there's singularity as well coinciding at the same time.
Yeah,
So
you have to consider too that these people don't know any different. They've never really understood freedom. Like
yeah, I mean, I don't think
we
there's
think we had freedom. I think the only freedom we can experience is the freedom of childhood. Really, that's the only true freedom. And
put it
even
this way,
then,
though, I don't buy into an eternal damnation.
yeah,
It
no,
may feel eternity, it may
yeah,
feel
I
like an
think,
eternity,
yeah,
but they're not bound forever with their spirits into like holding up a false kingdom of deceit. That they can get out whenever they choose to, but they may not be ready this go around. Just
I
may not be
appreciate
there.
that. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
That works for me.
And those of us that are, I think we're walking in the unknowingness because it passes all comprehension, the fields of energy we're moving into. And although we are remembering, it's still like a childlike spirit where we're tasting it for the first time, so it seems. And it's going to be a wild ride, man. Buckle up.
Yeah, I actually I had cognitive dissonance in the beginning, and after that, it kind of turned it just into an elated joy, the revealing of all the lies and the truth that's out there. The relearning of everything. It was painful in the beginning, and it has its moments when interacting with people now, but overall liberating, enlightening, and yeah, I just I even feel better physically not
So do
being
I.
under that control system, mind control of
A lot of people are getting
misconception.
sick right now too, which I'm noticing.
Yeah, there could be right now on Christmas Day. I've told you before that I use an EMF meter, the ElectroSmart. We had Christmas Day. We had a sustained reading of 74. which is, during the last pandemic, they used a 72 at its highest.
Mm-hmm.
They really, really want to do something. So they did that for 2 days. And we had, I think it was 13,000 cases come in 3 days after that on a daily basis. So they really did amp it up, but they're getting people sick, but they're not dying anymore. They've already chaffed out that. Those people have mostly been chaffed out. If they want that kind of a response again, they're going to have to either up the toxins in us or way up that frequency power output.
Which is probably part of this Five Guys and Fries thing, at least in our neighborhood, to up that frequency.
Yeah. I'm lucky we haven't seen that here.
Yeah.
The 5 gigahertz rollout in Canada just did not really happen. Toronto was supposed to be the smart city of the future, which is just over across the lake from me. And that was supposed to have smart sidewalks, smart grids, smart everything. They do have a smart grid. The electrical grid is smart controlled. But the rest of it just tanked. Too expensive, too ineffective as the communication system they wanted it to be. So the only places it's rolling out, and people you talk to that are using this system, well, if it rains, it's not very good. If you go into the woods, it's not very good. If you're not close to an emitter, it's not very good. So it's very ineffective and short range.
It's got its limitations.
Yeah. And the cities that it has rolled out in, it looks like they've done every light standard in that city. So they have quite the power output capability, like in Wuhan, where we saw the first images.
Look at that.
Of people falling down in the streets, unable to breathe. 60 gigahertz. That might knock oxygen off. Iron. So there are things like that just didn't happen in Canada. I'm curious as to why it didn't happen in Canada. I don't know. But there are smart cities. Yeah, there are smart cities in the States, as far as I've heard. I'm not sure on that. Any information on that?
Well, I believe Denver's one.
Yeah,
I believe Denver is one. Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know. I mean, I live in the sticks, and I don't even pay attention. I just know they've recently turned the lights onto this whole Five Guys and Fries thing, and
I'm in a city of half a million here, so I'm right in the thick of the beast, if there is a beast in Canada. And, I'm next door to what was supposed to be the biggest beast planet-wide. That didn't happen. But Canada has drank the Kool-Aid. Like, our government has totally drank the Kool-Aid. They are blue-pilled to the hilt.
And you see everywhere has its impressionable sheeple that will believe anything they're told. And
we're right along with Australia using our Royal Mounted Police, which are an elite police force in Canada, to harass and confine political rivals, which is, we're right on our way, lockstep. We're getting there, buddy. But I see a great repealing of this too, because it's getting to that crazy point, it seems, that I've been waiting for. I
actually think it's a nature versus technology equation, and it's becoming that black and white. Now, I've also said I don't think that doesn't mean we couldn't create technology with good intentions and that it couldn't be used for amazing purposes. And we've spoke of that before. Even the frequencies, all these generators, they could be used to raise humanity up.
Oh, we could be in such a state of you could virtually
panacea, nirvana. It'd be
constant state of ecstasy and harmony.
Atlantis or whatever.
Albeit artificial. We could do small cell and wired systems and
Yep.
allow the human being to return, which I think would be more beautiful.
Yeah, but right now our only choice is really to return to nature, because that whole technology designed with good intentions, it's not there. We have to create it, or it may be there, but it's not available to us.
That's what they told me in the 70s in I think it was Popular Science magazine, that we were going to be happy because this wireless technology was going to be transmitted to cause us to release endorphins and be happier people.
Yeah. Well, they could do that. They could all be Rife generators,
exactly.
to bring well-being and peace and joy.
Exactly. Yeah, we could use the 60 hertz wires in our walls to transmit happiness frequencies, or 432 or 7.83, the Schumann resonance.
But so you could almost look at nature as a technology of sorts, in a positive generating technology, because that's when we ground to it. We find these calming frequencies and these almost like a home type of.
Absolutely. Each tree contains its own torus field and aura, and when you go in that torus field and aura, it reinforces ancient fields that are dormant in a lot of these people who are just submerged in technology. So reinforcing that field people say, brings you back to nature. It does. It does.
And so the nature is the technology, the generator of these beneficial frequencies, and we are part of that. So we are actually a generator,
but and a receiver.
If we created things around that, that's all good and dandy. But at this point, the point of reference is within us and back in nature. We move back into these simpler ways because we're going to have to. They're going to make us outsiders. I mean, part of the rough waters we face ahead is, for people like us, you and I, it's where you're going to get your food, where you're going to get your. Well, I think they'll shut us down from travel and access to resources. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah. Well, that's short term, right?
Yeah,
that's short term.
Sure. But I think we still face that. That we're not over with that. It's going to get probably worse before it gets better.
Oh yeah, we're coming up with province to province passports. I think.
But they're all problems that will make us better. So if they take away the poison food, and then we start creating our own food systems and take our accountability back, it all becomes a positive.
Yes, I think that is going to happen. I think that responsible care of the land is going to come back. I think that responsible health care is going to return. Well, actually, probably come for the first time ever.
Yep.
With all the technology behind it that can be used for good, and all of the healing from the ancient knowledge that they had, because it's happening here in Canada. They're called Ezra Wellness Centers. And this is happening. It's already happening here. So, I can't see that stopping. It's steamrolling. The medical system is going to be rolled over. And I think that once people see these systems roll over, it's just going to snowball, and people are going to start looking at all of these systems that we have in place and start sorting them out.
Yep.
So that's what I think is going to happen. But yeah, we're going to have to go through the total shit show to get there.
No other way.
Yeah.
You got to tear it all down to build it back up. It's gonna self-destruct too, because it was designed to self-destruct. It was not meant to last.
Yeah, we're gonna, and then people are gonna have to tear down what they believe. Well, what they believe will be teared down. That's
exactly
all
it's inevitable. When you face the lie, the truth needs no defense. It's just a matter of if you're willing to accept what you know to be true.
Yeah, here's the truth. Take it. Go test it. Test Precisely. The truth and see how it fares.
I'm optimistic, and I'm glad to hear you are too. That's the main thing I take away from this conversation is a positive outlook on the apocalypse, and that's beautiful.
We've looked into the future too. We did that
Yeah.
once. I don't do it often. I don't look into the future because I believe the future is mutable, changeable.
True.
We saw just a joyous place. A joyous place. They
That's
couldn't
awesome.
see. There was a focus of humanity, and everything else was blackness or gone. And there was a focus of a joyous humanity.
That's
I
great.
loved it. It was a beautiful place. These people saw.
That's our future.
You know how the show works. So they don't know where they're going. They don't know. They have no idea. And what they saw was beauty, happiness. Yeah. It's going to be great.
Sounds like the kingdom of the Most High, the crown chakra buzzing.
Yeah. I think we may have had times like this. Maybe back in the beginning of Atlantis. It appears that place just went all evil and shit. But maybe we're doing it in reverse. Maybe we're starting off on the evil, and instead of the destruction, we're going to have just a construction, a real. Because these technologies haven't been around for that long. We're still in one generation.
I think it was just a vapor, a slight detour.
I think
along our path to heavenly realms.
Absolutely.
For lack of better words, because heavenly, people get all these ideas.
Mm-hmm.
I think you even said once it's a planet. Planet Heaven, was that you?
Planet Heaven? There are people that go to the purple planet. Heaven is a state of mind. Heaven or hell are states of mind.
Agreed.
So
and this is a detour along that path, because as we find the higher realms of our mind, the higher potential possibility within our vibratory state.
I think the end result of this is we're going to not use this technology to augment the human. I think we're going to allow the human to return to its root, because I have experienced a couple of times, once for an entire month, the state of the human being. Where during my awakening and the descending of the Christ onto me, I felt with the human being. I was given the experience of what it should be like. And I was totally pain-free.
I agree with you.
Elated, energetic. I was floating 6 feet above the air almost. I could see everything as it was.
Beautiful.
Finally. Yeah.
They're not going to take us down with the technology unless we choose to be. So I think the human will choose. Some will choose to overcome it, which we have all the capability to do it, because we are the generators of that counter frequency. And if we use our light, then we're going to overcome this world. And then, some will be siphoned off and used to build a kingdom. And I could see simultaneously two societies, one enslaved completely and one liberated and free. Yeah. And maybe that's the way it's always worked. There's always been examples of both playing out.
I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that if we introduce these people to our new platform of interaction, I think that they'll appreciate our platform of interaction much better. I think
you'll recruit a lot of people in the process.
I think they'll appreciate a campfire and real human interaction.
Yeah, no doubt.
But we don't have spaces to express our true platform anymore.
True.
We used to have that platform for thousands and maybe even millions of years. But
now you'll go there and they'll ask you for a park pass and
and you need a permit to be burning, everything. And you got to have a
can't be more than 13 people,
and
15 people tops or something.
So our platform has been taken down by technology and replaced.
That's fine, because they got the meta for us. That's the whole point of that equation.
If we can reintroduce the campfire to humanity, I think that would win a lot of them over.
I agree completely. That's
You
how
know,
we will win them over. Just simple.
yo, Christian.
Yep. The truth will win them over. Christian,
Yeah,
what's happening, brother? Dude, I got to jump off here, John.
yeah. We've been on
I
for
re-
quite a while.
well, I love the
Awesome.
conversation. I hope we do it again soon.
Yeah,
And you should
thank
go
you.
on Christian's show, The
Yeah, I'd
Realm.
love to. I'd love to.
That would be an awesome conversation. I'd love to hear you guys pick each other's brains. And
Yeah, I've never spoken to him. That'd be
you'd
really
have fun.
awesome. Yeah,
Christian's
does
an
he know I'm
amazing
crazy?
person.
Does he know I'm absolutely crazy as far as this world is concerned?
Well, neither of you are as crazy as I am, but that's why I know you'll like each other because you're
All
both
right.
cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
All right. Hey, Christian, do you want to come up and have a chat?
Yeah, there you go. Christian should jump on. Hey, I'm going to jump off because I got to go take care of some stuff with my kids. But I really appreciate you, brother. Thank you for the time, and hopefully we
No
can do it again
problem.
soon.
I can. Okay, thank you, Freedom Grower. Much appreciated. Hope to see you again soon, buddy.
You bet.
And everyone look for him on YouTube. Okay, and D Live. Yeah, okay. All right. Here, I'll post the link. Come on up. This is just a free form Saturday. I just it's just chat. I was going to do a talk about mud fossils and Rex Bear, but Freedom Grower came on, and I love talking to him. It gives me an opportunity to go places that I don't know. He just helps me get to those places, where I start thinking about what we could be doing. Hey, Christian Knapp, how you doing?
Hey, Max.
It's good to see you.
How's it going? I don't know whether to call you Max. Is that like your real
I
name?
like being called Max. I like being called Max. It's not my name, but I like being called Max. It's my new name. My name was John. I call myself Max here because I just chose a new name, right?
Yeah, dude. Thanks for stopping by and watching the shows, the Mellow Realm and stuff like that. I really appreciate it. And I think
Give me a minute.
you got me. I've been talking to some people about like the water and the electricity and the air and everything like that, and how
I lost you. Man.
We're really kind of like in a medium here that people just kind of just don't think about so much. They just think of it as air that we're in and an atmosphere and stuff like that. But isn't that medium? Isn't it like important to the kinds of things that you do, like in terms of like remote viewing and being able to kind of send messages through the ether and whatnot? Mm-hmm. Like, do you think that the ether plays a big role in the kinds of things that you do?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We're connected in. I can't exactly describe or give you a name for the energy. It's energy. We are connected energetically through the air, through space, with our minds and bodies. Are you asking if they can like mess with that, or?
Well, that's a good question too, because perhaps that's what's being done with like the chemtrailing and stuff like that. Some people think it's just to kind of blanket us with particulates, but maybe it's really to kind of mess up our ability to utilize this ether. Or it was like it's the normal God created process is that we can we're all dialed into this and connected by this, basically like an internet, all of the mechanisms that we have to communicate with one another without even talking to someone is all the kinds of things that they might be interfering with,
And we have access to what people call the Akashic records, or the past, with this connection. I really don't know, because we've been under this system for so long, and I've only been remote viewing for 3 years. I don't have anything to compare it to.
Yeah.
I couldn't say whether or not it is affecting us in that way.
Have you ever done comparison? Have you ever done any looking at like uh looking at like how well you can kind of like do the remote viewing on days when it is like heavily chemtrailed, or do you notice anything with atmospheric conditions that play into what you do at all in terms of remote viewing, or
You
do,
know, I don't think so.
yeah,
I actually I don't think so, because we get pretty consistent 80, I'd say around 80% positive hits on what we view
yeah,
constantly. I
you
think
haven't,
they I think they actually have to attack us physically, like
yeah,
you say. Well, and so the chemtrails do or could play a part in that
yeah,
because of the content. I think it's more the content of the chemtrails that would affect than the actual fact of them being between, because that connection is kind of what's it like, scalar energy, I guess would be the
yeah,
best way to describe it, or neutrinos. They don't get affected. It doesn't seem to get affected by things, you know.
yeah,
Um, but if they were to attack the mechanism, that would have an effect. Like if they're putting aluminum particulates, those will affect the mechanism once it gets in you, for sure. I couldn't
yeah,
say that they couldn't. I can't say that they couldn't manipulate it using the chemtrails, but I don't. I don't have any evidence, so I
yeah,
couldn't say yes or no. But I do know that they could affect the physical and do that, and that seems to be what they've been on the prowl to do since the '40s, introducing fluoride. Was an attack on the pineal.
yeah.
You know,
Now that definitely could affect your ability to remotely, right? You know, the
absolutely.
pineal is what people consider is like your connection possibly to this ether.
Yeah, the pineal allows us to do our remote viewing. In the pineal, there are cones and rods almost exactly. Well, they're not exactly. They're identical to the ones in your eye, but they're in a different configuration.
Yeah,
And there are electric or piezoelectric particles in there that, when they're charged or bump into each other, they create light. So,
wow.
what really happens when we remote view? We close our eyes using our third eye, our pineal. We are looking inward to a 0 point,
Yep.
and there are all these particles in there that create light. Well, all energy to me is conscious. So that is conscious energy directing that light
Yeah.
and those
Okay, so
particles.
like it's almost like this gland is glowing inside of our skull then.
Absolutely. That's the inner light. That's your
Wow.
inner light. We
That's
all
pretty wild.
have, absolutely, there is light in there.
And let me ask you this, like I've often, thought it's hard to believe that our memories are all inside of our head. There's so much data that we have from the time where we can remember, like colors of trees, the homes all
Mhm.
around us, all of the images that we have of growing up, being at the beach, exactly what all of that looked like. What did the boats look like we have all of these things that are still in our head,
Mhm.
right? That as
Me.
we get older,
I'm a little
uh,
wishy-washy on that one.
what's that?
I'm a little wishy-washy on whether they're actually in our head.
Yeah, and so that's what I'm wondering is the pineal. Do you think is that kind of like the uh, do you think that could be a transmitter receiver of some sort to the data that's outside of our head?
Yes, absolutely correct. Absolutely. Yes.
And
It's,
so like the
and it can
uh,
get calcified. You can
yeah,
build up calcium on it, calcium
and
deposits.
that's another thing that people talk about with like fluoride and stuff like that, just like attack on the pineal gland, and you wonder, uh, if that was the whole purpose of it from the beginning is to kind of like keep messing with people's connection like that.
Yeah, it's a way to disassociate people with each other, to disconnect, right? If you're not connected like we were, like if they can calcify that, you're going to have a lot less sympathy and empathy for that person.
Yeah.
You're not going to care as much, and then they can use that.
That's kind of incredible, because like that's really what we're experiencing here is like we were born into a system that is assaulting us, you know, attacking our ability to be spiritual beings, and the actual mechanism itself towards spirituality is all like being assaulted, you know,
Yeah.
just to numb us from the craziness that's going on, you know, like and who knows how the vaccines might play into this, you know, I don't know.
That's a huge ball of twine to unravel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done a lot of research into that, right from the beginning, because I was aware of the con from the beginning.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw those first images out of Wuhan, I was like, "Whoa, what are you guys doing?"
Yeah.
And I don't know if you heard our whole conversation about smart cities and that, but Canada was supposed to be the premier country, Toronto, Canada, right beside
Really?
me. Yeah, for the smart city. Like they were going to have smart sidewalks, smart everything.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen. It fizzled. Thank God.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, what we hear down here about the kinds of things they're testing on the Canadian people makes me feel really sad, and also shocked that it's so close to the States. You know, we've seen the same kind of thing in Australia and stuff, different kinds of measures, but you know, Toronto seemed like they were definitely gung-ho on that kind of direction, you know, the smart city. And what happened? Did the people rise up and say like, no, we're not having it, or they just stopped it?
It just fizzled due to problems. Like we were talking about communication. It's supposed to be for communication, but it barely works as a communication device, which kind of gives you a hint as to what it's really for. But it just didn't work. It was too expensive. The city just wouldn't fund it, and it didn't work. So yeah, it just fizzled. The funding wasn't there for it. It was going to cost a lot of money to outfit the city, and they're already hemorrhaging money as it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would love to. I don't know if you're kind of watching what you say on your channel or not, but on mine,
I'm not allowed to talk bad about vaccines.
Yeah.
That's my only limitation. I can talk about 5G all we want. We can talk about pretty much anything.
Yeah.
We can talk about COVID, but we can't talk bad about vaccines.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, let me ask you this. If you were on my channel, could you talk openly about it?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I do kind of talk openly about it, and I haven't been banned yet. I think it's because I don't put up controversial titles.
Yeah.
And they've got me in a little kind of a little loop here where I don't get spread or shared unless people spread or share me. So, I'm definitely in a little bubble. So,
well, if you
go ahead, what do you want to? You can ask about the nanotech, the graphene, as long as you don't tell people not to take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
The graphene's kind of concerning because that seems to be causing the myocarditis. What happens is it's actually graphene hydroxide, and it links up in long chains, and it's in your blood. So when you're running around on the field, these high intensity athletes, that's just running through your veins, slicing and dicing as it goes, internal hemorrhaging.
Like little knives inside your blood.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
And that's they just naturally line up like that, or that's the way that technology works. It just
Yeah, they want to be together. Yeah,
and
they
they
want to
form
form.
long strands.
Yeah, and then there's these little ball things, little round balls. They look like cells, but they're black, and they love to be together. They come in different sizes too. They're various sizes, and they like to gather together and make little chains and ball up. And they seem to link. They have a link between each one, so that they can transfer, I guess, electrons or something. And yeah, those I think are very interesting. Now, I'm going to suggest you start taking boron 3 milligrams a day. You can get it from your health food store. That'll help take that stuff out. Um, you can also take a bath. This was started because of Chernobyl, where you use a cup of um, Epsom salts, 1 cup of boron or borax from the store, like laundry soap
Yep.
type additive, and 1 cup of baking soda. 20 minutes. You'll be woozy. You'll be dizzy when you come out.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that
uh,
the boron?
Well, it could be the hot water as well.
Yeah.
Use hot water, as hot as you can take, and scrub. But yeah, you will feel woozy when you come out. I think it's from the boron, and I think it's a combination of all these things pulling the toxins out.
Yeah.
Because it will pull toxins out. All of these products have been shown to do that.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing the where we are. I mean, even compared to a couple of years ago when I first met you.
Yeah.
It just is wild to see your country go in the direction that it's gone, and who knows what's next. Who knows what's next? But it's certainly not about any kind of we're definitely in a much bigger operation than I thought that we were first in.
Yeah.
This is definitely showing no signs of ending, and the different kinds of measures they're implementing just seem just worse and worse.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we look at Kazakhstan. They rolled ahead until the people rebelled. Now they're the platform to watch, because what happens there could be the model for everywhere else.
Yeah.
Also, that could be a psyop. Just,
you're right. You're right. They could show us Kazakhstan and just like make us feel like someone's doing something just to placate us.
Yeah. Or are we being led down that path? Is that the path we're supposed to take?
Yeah. I was talking to Voynich, and Voynich, we were talking about how the Russian people are very they seem to be pretty upbeat compared to Americans, he said, and that they know that all the different types of governments are complete jokes. They have so much experience with different things in their country that they're skeptical of all of that stuff. And it just is like, when are all the people of the world going to realize that all these governments of the world are working together and against us, and start to do something? It just is all of these countries, if you go into them, there's just such a huge population of people that don't trust anything that the government says or does.
Upwards of 70% in Canada.
Yeah, and yet they've got enough percentage to basically steamroll. Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing that 70% of Canadians would be skeptical of their government, yet they might just all be watching and letting it happen.
Yeah, and lining up for
Lining up, yeah. That's
yeah.
the saddest thing is actually I can't wait for the lines to just go down and people to start kicking themselves in the head and being like, what was
Yeah.
I thinking?
When it affects someone close to them, that's when it'll stop, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, like me and Freedom were saying, it's going to get, like I've been saying for a long time, it's going to get crazier before it gets better. We have to hit a crazy point.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to think what that crazy point might be, but like this is what I was thinking before that we might be headed for is like a civil war, like the crazy I think we're on a script that I feel pretty solid about the fact that the script is walking us down towards a, you know, some kind of civil
Yeah.
split schism, in the states here
Mhm.
where because we're starting to see some governors take the approach of mandates that are locking down the city, just like in Canada. I mean, people are not in Canada. Do you have to show papers to get into a store?
Not a grocery store yet. Although in one province you do, not mandated by the government though. It's whether the store decides whether you need a passport or not.
Wow.
So they passed it off. They passed the buck. Hey, Joni.
But you can still get into grocery stores.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not allowed to go to a bar, any clubs, um, theater, sporting event. Not that I did anyway, but it's still, for some people, I guess that's a hardship. But for me, it's not. But you know, they shouldn't have the right to do that anyway. But
Yeah.
that's what they're doing here, and it's been that way for 2 years. They have never let it up. It has always been limited capacity, restrictions, shut down. Yeah, they're hard line for small business in Canada.
And when you go outside, do you see any signs of rebellion or civil disobedience or it like in the states here there are signs of it in certain states.
I stood on a corner for I think 6 weeks. I did it in a row when this first started with a sign that said "Plandemic," just to see if anybody would respond, and I got nothing. But there are protests going on in Canada all over the place. They're small so far, but they are happening.
Yeah.
In Quebec, they're happening bigger now because they just went on curfew lockdown, so they're not allowed out after 10 p.m. I don't know what other restrictions they have, probably quite similar to what we're under at the moment. Yeah.
They obviously don't.
Your audio's gone a little bit.
Sorry. Did you
No, didn't
am I
catch any
still
of that.
connected there?
You're connected, but I didn't catch any of that.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hold on one second. I think.
There we go. You're good now.
Oh man. What
I think you might have sent power surge.
Something got muted here on my end.
Oh.
Can you hear me, Max?
I can hear you.
All right. For some reason, I can't hear you.
Oh, okay. Go out and here. Hold on. If you can read chat. Yeah. There you go. So hi, Alec. Hi, Joni. How you doing? Let's call the Paramount. Yeah. There we go.
I can hear you now.
Okay. Good. Okay.
The after 10 o'clock, huh? In Quebec.
Yeah. and it's New Brunswick where they can choose. The grocery stores can choose whether you can come in with a passport or not. So, and businesses are allowed to choose now as well if you are to be passported or not. You know,
Yeah.
my business hasn't. I made sure that they knew. I asked my business right out about. I guess it was about 6 months ago. I just went up to the office and I just said, "Okay, so what about these mandates? Are you guys going to be enforcing any of these? These things?" And they said, "Well, if the government makes us, yes." So the government to this point is passing the buck, not mandating these businesses to do it. So we'll see how long that takes. You know.
Yeah. Wow, dude. Well, I'd love to talk openly about a lot of these things with you, and it sounds like you've done a lot of research into the contents of these things, and also even um, you know continuing to discuss the pineal gland, and then maybe even demonstrate to my audience some of the things that you can do. It might be interesting to do a viewing. I don't know if you can do it outside the context of your show there, but to just
Yeah,
kind of,
I often go to other people's channels, and what I do there is I get the people in your chat to remote view,
yeah,
because if I do it, I already know the target.
right,
It's so that's a tainted result,
yeah,
right? So that might be fun if your uh, group's up to it.
yeah. I don't know if you're around on Tuesday at 7 Eastern time. So are you on Eastern? Yeah, you're in Toronto, right? That's Eastern time.
Yeah, yeah, I am. Yeah,
7 p.m. You want to come on a?
sure. That sounds like fun.
Yeah, I think we
Yeah,
could
what I
hash
usually
out.
do with the show is I usually do like images,
Yeah,
just pictures to start, and at the end of the show we do a destination where we go for, you know, something big, like a place in an event in time, past, present, or future. But I can do a couple of images with your guys and explain how that works, and
yeah.
see if they want to go on to a destination. I have a whole stack of them over there that we've done. So yeah, that'd be a lot of fun.
That would be awesome. I I can send you my. I mean, I. What's the best way? I have a email address. I can just let you know of if you can hit me up on that
Yeah,
email address.
yeah.
Uh,
I'm,
all right, it's
let me
the
just go.
Mellow Realm.
Okay, let me check that. Let me go to Gmail. Okay, give me a second here. I won't be able to see you, so but I will be able to hear you.
Yeah, the Mellow Realm at gmail.com. And if you shoot me an email, I'll send you a link to the show on Tuesday. And I use Restream, but you should have no problem connecting up.
Okay. Go back. Okay, I've got that. If it doesn't work for me, I sometimes my emails don't go out. Uh, okay, here I'll give you mine. Mine's J Glendenning 30.
Okay, hold on one
That's
second.
that's going to be a long one for you. JGLEND. So it's JG. Uh,
Sorry, Max. Hold
yeah,
on.
you'll have to turn your audio off. That's okay. Okay, I'll put it in chat. I don't mind sharing it. I can get rid of spam on it. Here again. Your sound is off.
Sorry, when I swiped over to my notepad, it disconnected me from you. So what is it, Jay?
Okay. GLEND INNING 30
Okay.
at gmail.com.
Okay.
Put it in chat there. Hey, Finance Planet. I'll take it out of chat in a couple seconds if you've got it that way.
JGLENDINNING 30 at Gmail.
Correct.
All right. Well, I
Right.
can't wait to talk openly about what you know about what's in it and how it operates, and maybe discuss Canada a little bit, and also
Sure.
the pineal, and also get into maybe a little demonstration, like some remote viewing with the audience. I think it'll be.
That would be awesome. Like, you got me real excited. You asked all the right questions just to get me going, and that was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is. There's a lot to what you're doing, and I think people are realizing that there's a lot more senses than 5 that we have, and that we're connected to something outside of us that
Yeah.
is
I
our
was
spiritual world.
I was going to talk to you about consciousness, about memory and consciousness too.
Yeah.
There's an interesting thing. There's a field that it's detectable up to 55 feet that surrounds your body. Now that field really could be your consciousness and memory.
Oh, wow. That's really interesting. In other words, you're walking around with like data floating around you 50 feet away.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's mind blowing. Like that's all. You think that the data is just in your brain, but you're saying that there's like a cloud of data that's 50 feet wide that
And
you're in
it's
control of.
cycling constantly.
Wow, that's mind blowing.
Yeah.
To just think about, like, it explains a lot. It explains like that the fact that we're not just like in our own head.
Yeah.
But also I wonder if the ether that we're in is really just a soup of everyone's memories. If everyone's got 50 feet of space around them that has
There is a
data.
lot out there. Like, I can see what's there right in front of me.
Yeah.
When I use my pineal, and there's entities, there are energies, constant flow, a constant flow of it, and you can see it. It comes in patterns and waves. Sometimes it's all disrupted, and it's out there.
That is, well, let's definitely get into that as well on Tuesday.
Sure. Yeah. There's magnetic horseshoes that I can see with my visible eyes too. When they pump up the energy, when they pump up the electricity really high, the magnetics goes down, and there's a lot less of the horseshoes. They're
and
really
what are
interesting
the
phenomena.
horseshoes?
They're an interesting phenomena. They're in the. I can only see them looking at the sky.
Like crescent shaped.
Yeah, my wife has images of them.
Because it's interesting you say that. I saw a million crescents on the ground at the point that the eclipse happened. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me.
I think they're electromagnetic phenomena.
Dude, you might be onto something, because it was so bizarre. I was out looking at the eclipse. I think it was like 2017 or 18 that the big one went across the United States, and they were tracking it, like the path of totality or something like that, as the eclipse went across. And this is the one where they said something like, don't look at the eclipse with your naked eyes. And then they showed pictures of Donald Trump and Ivanka, or his wife, I forget her name, looking right at the sun,
Oh, yeah.
during the eclipse. And it was kind of a joke, but when the eclipse happened, I looked out and my driveway had a million crescents on the ground, and it was shadows of some sort that were being now it could have been somehow related to the eclipse and maybe a pattern that is created by the eclipse, like a crescent kind of pattern.
Yeah.
But why would it shoot out a million of them, almost like there are a million different light sources that were each creating their own image on my driveway?
Maybe it's lensing through them.
Yeah, but like
maybe the light is lensing through them onto the driveway.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe the horseshoes that you're seeing is some kind of like filter that's up there, and and
yeah, they're everywhere. They're scooting around in front of me. I can't see them right now, but
I'll show you. I'll show you on Tuesday the images that I got from the eclipse with the horseshoes. It was just mind blowing, because I looked down and I'm like, where did all these come from? And it was like all over my front yard and driveway.
Yeah. And the only thing they are is they're not solid things you can actually see. They're more of a wave. You can see a horseshoe wave in front of nothing,
Yeah.
And the wave is actually made of nothing. So yeah, they're just
it's like an energy.
Yeah, and they turn and twist through the sky in the air, and they do all their little squiggly patterns. I don't know why, but that's what they do.
And do you close your eyes to see these, or do you?
No, I have to look at a clear sky. And I can see them.
Wow. Yeah, I mean you're definitely using a lot more than 5 senses to.
Fortunately and unfortunately, I have cleansed my body over the years. I've gotten down to I have a zero fat content with pretty much. I don't think you can have zero.
Yeah.
Over that time, though, my sensitivity to things has just skyrocketed.
Really?
Yeah. I'm about to do an experiment. I'm very cautious about this because I'm extremely sensitive to EMFs, but I've come up with a device that helps me with my restless leg syndrome. And I'm about to go to an area in my building where I shouldn't go because it has intense radiation. Lost you there. And I'm going to test this device. So I'm very hesitant to go there. We'll see what happens. There he is again. I don't know if you heard that.
Sorry, I had another call coming in.
No problem.
You have a device? You showed me the device and then it got disconnected.
I use this on my ankle for restless leg syndrome. I actually have 3 of them. It stops restless leg syndrome in me. I'm trying to get other people to experiment with it. But there's an area in my building that I can't go. Otherwise, I get dizzy, nauseous, and want to hit the floor.
Wow.
So I'm going to try this device there and see if it has any effect. Is
that pretty consistent? Whenever you go there, you just feel nauseous and.
Oh, I can test it on a meter. I had my wife
really?
go down and test it on the meter. It's a real thing.
And so, I mean, it sends the needle on the meter way up, and when you go there, you can actually feel that EMF.
I get dizzy, nauseous. I start getting blinks, little flashes on the periphery of my eye. If I stay there long enough, I probably get heart palpitations.
Wow. And so, what do you think is causing that?
Convergence of signals.
Yeah. Is
I
it
think.
where is it in a lower floor or is it?
Yeah, it's actually in the basement. We have really long hallways here. They're about 100 feet long.
Uh-huh.
And it's 3/4 of the way down. There's a spot that it just skyrockets.
And if you go outside of that area, the EMF it gets less. Like where you are in your apartment, you're substantially less EMF.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow. So it's almost like a hotspot, a radioactive hotspot.
Yep. It is. Yeah.
And
And you
are
can
there any
find these
noticeable?
all over your house too.
That's pretty interesting. Are there any signs of signal transmitters, or is it like it just is like where a whole bunch of signals
Yeah.
collect and meet?
Yeah. That's what I think. It's just some place that a whole bunch of signals collect and meet.
In other words, it's not like on top of the generator in the building or anything like that.
I have this building is 11 floors. I'm on the 11th floor, and it's in the basement. So, and that's the only place it is. It's not in other hallways in that spot either. It's not in my hallway at that spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if the spot that's in the basement, if it's near any kind of like emitter.
It must be. It must be. Or it's
Yeah.
reflecting several signals into one. I'm getting a much more advanced EMF meter. It's supposed to be, it was supposed to be here last Wednesday, but I guess our government probably wants to hold it and monkey with it before they give it to me.
Yeah.
So
they got to make you really want it. That's the way they are.
Well, they could put a tracker in it. They could, I don't know. I'm just joking. I have no idea, but it was supposed to be here on Wednesday. It's not here yet.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, I mean, I think it's pretty consistent with the fact that we're getting taught to be okay with just like long lines, empty shelves, and all kinds of sad direction that we're headed. It's like it's the new normal. Expect part shortages, expect zero customer service, expect extended delivery times,
expect to get lied to. Expect to get lied to.
Yeah.
People are realizing that, though. They're starting to wake up. They are. It's good to see.
In a way, like something like this, and maybe as time goes on, the sheer ridiculousness of it hopefully bubbles to the top, and people just will look back and kick themselves in the heads.
We're giving them an out. They have an out right now. Joe Rogan gave them an out.
What was the out?
A mass formation of psychosis. He gave them an out.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's your opportunity, guys. Here's a fancy term describes what happened to you, because it did. It you can admit it now. There's your out. Mass formation psychosis. You've heard it. You know what it is now, and it's what's happening.
Yeah.
So it's a freedom card. It's like a get out of jail card for the sheep, right?
Yeah.
Yes, you were pushing. You were trying to tell me I was bad. Now you're not. Here's why. Is it your fault? Isn't it your fault? Well, I don't know. I could look at it either way. But as long as you come out of the programming, I'm happy either way. You know? I'm not here to lay blame on people. I'm just here to say, here's your out. Try to use it. Take it. Take advantage of it. You were fooled.
Yeah.
Put it that way. If that's what you got to put in your head, that you didn't just go along and drink the Kool-Aid, whatever. As long as they come out of the programming.
Yeah.
I think those opportunities are going to be offered again and again. It was offered on Joe Rogan. That's got 11 million views so far, and that's just one platform.
Yeah.
So word's getting out.
Yeah, definitely. Let me ask you this: in Canada, what percentage of the workforce is actually working? Do you think? I mean, the unemployment rate must be sky high.
I have not stopped working.
Yeah.
Who they're after is they're not after our industry for some reason. Our ability to produce is not being curtailed.
Uh-huh.
I have not experienced a lockdown myself. My wife has. She works in retail.
Uh-huh.
The people down the hall work in restaurant. So it seems they're after that area in Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the production facilities, they all kept going.
Yeah, I mean, anything that might be classified as like whatchamacallit, like what do they call them? Essential services, right? You know, they're not going to touch that. But I mean, they've really, in the States here, there's a general like malaise over people, and it seems like they're getting comfortable with the I don't know whether it's the if it's the checks, the the pandemic uh, uh, stimulus checks or anything like that. But I think there's just like not too many people inspired about their work, and they don't seem to care about shutting down huge swaths of industry like the restaurant business. What they've done in Boston is, uh, uh, on the 15th, you won't be able to get in without a passport into any establishment,
Yeah,
and there's going to be a lot of businesses that are going to go under. So these governors really don't care about how their state may tank
yeah.
economically.
Well, no,
Um,
that might be a good thing. That might be
yeah,
a good thing because what's happening here? Okay, here's the scenario in Canada, right? Okay, so I can't dine in because I don't have my passport. But I can walk up to the counter of a restaurant, order my food, stand there and wait, and walk out the door.
yeah, yeah,
What's the difference between that and me sitting down and eating it?
right.
What's the difference?
I mean,
You know,
uh, it in that kind of example, you could say, hey, you know what? There's a beautiful place to sit down under the sky if you want to eat your food out there.
well,
It
it's minus
just
three here. So,
it just is amazing how everyone is okay with them creating two classes of people.
yeah, yeah. It's got to be pushed further. It's got to be
Yeah,
pushed much further. That's why I say the craziness is yet to come.
yeah, you're right.
They seem to want rebellion. These contrary, and you look at the white papers like Lockstep, and it's part of the plan to get civil unrest of any sort, where you can instill a martial law because the people aren't behaving.
Yeah,
So that seems to be the goal.
yeah.
Unless we all fall in lockstep, take our Kool-Aid, and use our passports.
Yeah,
Uh,
I I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. I believe that like that's the goal here in the States is to create a two societies,
yeah.
and then ultimately to have a fake war, like civil war,
Hmm.
to basically steamroll the one society that is outcast,
Hmm.
steamroll them, and um, because I do believe there might be some states that people gravitate towards. If we get a mass exodus from places like I just left a state that it's disgusting the kinds of decisions that the governor has made. So I just left Massachusetts and I'm now in South Carolina, where it's a whole different ballgame. So if all these people are leaving these states because they can't go into places or they don't feel comfortable with just like so many people around them,
Yeah.
it's going to almost create like Native American reservations of people that are not
Agenda 2030.
2030.
Yeah, have you heard of Agenda 2030?
Yeah.
Okay,
And
so they're supposed to drive us into mass cities.
right.
What's happening? Everybody's
Yeah.
leaving these areas, going to see, it's working.
It's working. It is working. That's the script we're on, you know.
It's working.
Well, listen, I'll
Yeah.
we'll touch base with email, and on
Yeah.
Tuesday at 7, I'm really looking forward. I think my audience will really enjoy hearing your perspective on these things,
Awesome.
and I love the fact that inside of our skull is a burning light, almost a piezoelectric energy.
Yeah, that happened. I learned about that because I was sitting in church and I decided to go looking for the Christ.
Yeah.
And that's where I found him.
Yeah.
He's in us. So, yeah.
He's in us. Yeah. Well, awesome, dude. Great talking with you.
All right.
I'll jump off here and then I look forward to our conversation continuing on Tuesday.
All right.
All right,
Excellent.
Max. Have a great
Looking
weekend.
forward to it. See you, Christian.
Later.
You too. Have a great weekend. Well, that was fun, guys. Went on a lot longer than I thought we were going to. Or God, a Christ or a God, yeah. People want to move. I keep thinking we already win by standing. Or that is right, Deborah. Yeah, that is correct. I thought of running. I thought about where to go, and really, there is nowhere. Either we stand and fight and take our ground, or eventually they'll get you. You can just be on the run forever. There are people that want to start different little communities, and I understand that, and I get the idea. But doesn't that just make you a big target as well? You know, if everybody is in lockstep and you're the only small little community separated and isolated, you might be on target as well. We've been on for 2 hours tonight. So, yeah, looking forward to Tuesday too, Freedom Grower. Great to see you all. Until tonight, we're going to have a class. We'll get into some remote viewing. So until then, much love. Keep your third eye open. Use your intelligence and your intuition. Bye-bye.